Yeah, brilliant. Everyone's been a top draw. I've loved my time here. It's a great setup and a great bunch of players and staff, so I've really enjoyed it.
Could you tell us a bit about your career and how it's progressed to this stage?
Yeah, so I started off interning at Charlton. I did a season there, and then I joined Stevenage Academy, spent a season in the academy, spent about 3 months in non-league, and then a role came up at Celtic in Scotland, which I spent just under 3 years there, which was pretty much still learning the trade, and obviously this role came up and I ended up in Devon.
What sort of qualifications do you need to take on the role?
It's interesting. I think I would say that a sports science degree, or you can now do strength and conditioning degrees. Undergrad degree is incredibly important because understanding sort of the principles of exercise science is what you need. There's various other little accreditations and qualifications that are also as important or sort of standard now in football. But I would certainly say, if you're looking to get into sports science or strength and conditioning, an undergraduate degree would be the starting point.
You've of course worked for the likes of Celtic up in Scotland with the ladies' side. What were those experiences like?
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, cold, but pretty good. The club is massive. All around the world, everybody knows it. So, there's a real high level of expectation throughout the boys' academy, the girls' academy. It was a fantastic experience. I come from a family of Celtic fans as well, but aside from that, just the insight there was brilliant, and hopefully being able to carry some of that over here.
And for those that don't know, could you talk us through your day-to-day role here?
Yeah, I mean it varies, especially now in season. So very much will be the day before we'll start planning training. Then we will look at how well recovered the players are from the day before, from games, any other stresses that have been applied, and then we try to look at the training. From there, we'll start to plan it in a little bit more depth. So from my perspective, the players will come in and do their prehab. Both the under 23s and the first team come in and do their prehab. Then we're very much out on the pitch base, depending what day we're in during the week. So they'll come and do a reasonably extensive warm up with myself. Then they'll do the technical, tactical. We may have the conditioning work in there as well. Again, depending on the status of those players.
Strength and conditioning has become such a feature within modern sport now. Why is it so important?
I think probably the most well documented is that making players more robust and resilient. There's an awful lot going on in it, especially in a team sport. It's a contact sport. Team sports like rugby, Aussie rules, football, you need to be robust and resilient to handle the demands of those sports. So I think from an injury perspective and keeping players ticking over, ultimately we want all players fit and available for selection for the manager. So it's another tool that helps the manager and helps the club.
What have you made of the players here in terms of their physical condition so far?
Yeah, pretty good. The fitness coach is probably always the enemy to start with, but no, the lads have been brilliant. They put in a lot of hard work over the last few weeks, and I think that probably showed through a little bit in the game. But they've been brilliant. They really have. I couldn't ask for more than.
The past 2 seasons have seen the players take part in the playoffs, so for 2 years they've had slightly less recovery time than most players. Did you have to take that into account when you were planning pre-season?
Yeah, you certainly look at it. I know myself and Matt were talking the other week about the amount of games that you would play in League Two, which isn't too dissimilar. I think the other week, or last year, I think possibly the year before, I think Man United and Celtic were the 2 highest with something like 72 games. Now, if you look at here and you do well in competitions, you could be playing over 60. It's virtually relentless in the fact that you'll nearly always have 2 fixtures in a week. So, to get players from a game maybe on a Saturday recovered to go again on a Tuesday is quite a challenge. So it's something that we look at and look at in quite detail to see where those players are.
And Matt's spoken before on the work that you do. You may not necessarily see tangible differences until 18 months or a year down the line. Could you explain a bit about what sort of differences we may see from the players?
Yeah, we obviously want to get the players a lot stronger, quicker, more powerful. I think some of them have had a good training history, so they're used to that kind of thing. Probably one of the key performance indicators is a reduction in soft tissue injuries. You know, your collision injuries, your broken bones and things like that, they're unavoidable, but some soft tissue injuries are avoidable when you look at your load management structure and policy of, you know, how we load those players up. So I'd hope that in, you know, the 18 months or so we'll start to see a massive reduction in that. Ultimately my job is to, again, keep those players ticking over. Hope that they're all available for selection and be able to get them recover quickly to perform.
And are the players quite good at responding to the things that you're asking them to do? They're all very keen and willing.
Yeah. Like I say, the fitness coach is probably their worst enemy at times, but no, they've been brilliant. Like I say, I really couldn't ask more for them. They get on with it, and you know, they always have questions, and I like that. You know.
And just in terms of your relationship with Matt, what's he like to work with? Because he's very receptive to things like strength and conditioning, isn't he?
Yeah, Matt has a really good idea. You know, he has a really good grasp of sports science and strength and conditioning. So we'll always have conversations on the status of players, and you know, I think one of the principles we have to look at is when to push players and when to pull them back, because we're always looking for performance. Performance is, especially in sports science, that's the key indicator. But Matt's great because you can go to him and talk to him. He likes to go to the gym himself, so he has a good idea, a really good grasp of it. So it's refreshing that, you know, you can go and have these conversations with him.
And of course the first match, a 3-1 win against Carlisle. How did the players come through that physically?
Yeah, pretty good. I was really pleased. I think the third goal showed that. You know, from a physical perspective, you're looking at that, and they've still got plenty more in the tank after 93 minutes on a very, very hot day. We were incredibly conscious with the hydration levels of the players. We put water all around the outside of the pitch, and we tried to get on as much as possible and give them water, keep them hydrated, because the sun is going to tire them out as well. But the players came through it brilliantly, and I think, you know, that's a testament to themselves. It's, you know, I can give them the orders, but they have to go and do the work, and I think they've been brilliant with that.
And how important is the recovery for the players, particularly when they're playing in this heat as well?
Yeah, incredibly important. You know, everything from your nutrition to your, you know, the soft tissue work that you may do, your stretching, rolling, they're all common modalities for recovery. I don't think you can ever accelerate recovery. The body's always going to do that anyway. It's going to start recovering the minute you stop, but you can facilitate it, and everybody will have different demands, and at the moment it's trying to work out what those demands are. You know, these guys and footballers in general go through an awful lot in a training week and 2 games a week, so we try to give them the best advice we can to keep them ticking over and again ready for selection to go again.
And just finally, you've moved to the area. What do you make of Devon so far?
Yeah, it's a lot quieter. No, I'm really enjoying it. Everyone's really friendly, and you know, I've been kind of overwhelmed with like talking to Exeter City fans. You know, when I've been out and about, and you know, it's been good. Some really good questions, and you know, I've loved it. Loved every minute, and I'm loving it. So especially with this weather, it's not like this in Glasgow.